My name is Margie Story. I have two younger sisters. So we were a family of 5. My dad was a preacher. One summer, we were going to camp, and he was going to be the camp director for the Southeastern Conference camp that was held in western Georgia. So my family went with him. I was actually a counselor. About halfway through the week, on a Wednesday, I believe, my dad who was in good shape, he did Boy Scouts and went on camping trips and did all this other stuff, just dropped dead of a heart attack. You always wonder, why, God? Why did you take my dad so soon? You know, it doesn't make sense that you're leaving my mom with 3 kids with no support. My youngest sister is severely handicapped, and she's only 2. It just doesn't make sense. Mom never went back to work. She tried a few times, but it just was too much for her, taking care of my youngest sister and us. All that time went by. We went to college, got our degrees. God provided for us numerous ways all along the time and all along the years. Fast forward a number of years, we have 2 daughters, my husband and I. My oldest name is Lauren. She graduated from Fellowship High School in 2012. Her senior year, one of her electives was just working in the office with the receptionist, whose name happened to be Denise. Denise was a wonderful woman, very sweet. Everybody knew Denise, and she and Lauren were friends for that year. Fast forward another 7 years to 2019. Lauren gets a text from Denise, the most random question ever. I was just looking up the pastor who led the Christian camp I attended when I was young. All I recall is that his name was Reverend Mothershed, and he died at the camp in 1972. My friends and I all became Christians that day because of his death. I found an obituary for a lady with that last name, and lo and behold, I believe it's your mother's mother. Do you know how or where your grandmother's late husband died? I just had to ask. Of course, I talked to Denise after that text, and she told me that the counselors, of course, took them aside that night and they said, just because you go to a Christian school, just because you go to church, just because you go to Sunday school, just because you're in a Christian family doesn't mean you have Jesus. You have to decide if you want Jesus in your heart. And that's the most important decision. She and her 7 other friends all became Christians that night, and they're all strong believers to this day. Just to know that God had a plan, and that those bad things that happened, and yes, it was hard on us and even harder on my mom, I just want everybody to know that during this time where things can be heavy, that God has a purpose and God has a plan. Being able to look back and see that God has been at work and put all those pieces together just blows my mind. Okay, I can put one step in front of another this day, even though it may be hard, or I can do this for this day, even though it may be hard, because I know God's got my back. I know He's going to provide for me. I know that in the end, all things work together for good for those who love Him.